Hello everybody, I'm Elwirfy and today we are back playing some more Stories from Seoul, the Gun Dog. Let's go ahead and finish up. We needed to talk to Cassandra and then we'll go to the armory, I think. Yes, Lieutenant, how can I be of assistance? Cassie, you're being respectfully Lieutenant Wirfs. I would appreciate it if you'd address me as Lieutenant Commander Quinn. Ah, I see. Okay. Wait, use? What, can we use anything? I'm pretty sure that's a court-martial if I... just for thinking about sitting in it. Oh, okay. Oh, I got an achievement. Try to sit in the captain's chair. That's great. Alright, let's move to the central hub. Let's move... Actually, we'll just use the map. Task. Visit the armory to collect your sidearm. Oh, visit the airlock. Oh, okay. So I do have tasks. Info. Okay, so let's go to the armory. Where's the armory? Bridge. Airlock. Sickbay. Yep, let's move to the armory. You swipe your key card through the card reader set into the terminal by the armory's door. There's a slight delay, but quickly enough, the terminal flashes the message, access granted, and the door slides open. Hey, look at all those weapons. The first thing you notice about the armory is that the benches and the lockers remind you of the changing rooms from Training Center, back on the military academy on Europa Colony. Alright, cool, cool. As you walk past them, you take a closer look and realize that they're the same kind of benches used on the larger ships you've been stationed on, the ones with sports facilities and changing rooms on board. Instead of sports clothing and equipment, these lockers are filled with a selection of combat gear, from body armor to electroshock weapons to a variety of small and light weapons. You know, this is the first time I've ever actually been inside a ship's armory. That's not really surprising. It's the only security detail that would have... It's only the security detail that would have access. Sure. That makes sense. Even in a situation where the ship's expecting an encounter from a boarding party, it's security's responsibility to distribute weaponry to the crew in advance. It's to ensure there's no panic and that crew don't get a hold of weaponry they're not trained to use. Huh. That's standard regulation. You should know that. Well... oh god, why doesn't she know that? All I remember from my firearm training was when I dropped my electroshock weapon and accidentally zapped one of the other girls from operations. Okay. That's not good. Oh, Mike's being stupid. Okay. But yeah, that's not good. Our trainer made me use a hand-cranked battery charger to recharge all the armor packs as punishment. That must have taken forever. You bet, but you should have seen my gun show afterwards. Pew pew. Okay. Which reminds me, the captain said I was authorized to collect my sidearm. I should get it whilst I'm here. Let's use the lockers. Accessing a weapon locker sends an automatic alert to the bridge. Even if I wanted to examine the weaponry, I wouldn't want to set off an alarm without telling anyone what I was doing. There's no reason for us to use those. They've a real plan to put back. Oh, that's the weapon one. Okay. This is the weapons locker with the electroshock weapons in it. I'm authorized to take one small weapon as part of my role. As security officer, this one will do. You got the electroshock gun. Cool. What's that? It's just my standard issue duty weapon for my role as security officer. It fires a barbed projectile that contains a miniature battery. It's non-lethal, but more than enough to stop someone in their tracks. I see. What? Absolutely not. No! Oh my god. No way. I'm not just handing over my weapon. She can't be trusted at all. Aw, come on. That's fantastic. So have you ever got to use any firearms? Why do you ask? Well, I know your security, but you never tell me anything about it that's exciting. I always imagined you facing down bad guys with some scary pistol the size of my forearm, saying cool lines like, "How many shots did I fire?" I don't know myself, but the question is, do you feel lucky about? Oh, classic. All right. Yeah, you've been watching way too many old movies. Aw. Not even once. Most of my job has been dealing with crew members who get a bit tetchy after being cooped up in a ship for too long and start fights with each other. Even then, I just tend to break things up and talk them down most of the time. No one even ends up in the brig. You've got to have done something more exciting than that. Well, I knew you were an exciting action hero. Tell me. Wait, are we just together because she thinks I'm like some cool, badass, like, superhero dude? It sounds like my guy is just like a depressed pilot who took security because of the PTSD from being a pilot, I think. So this one time, a pilot found out that someone on the maintenance team had been trying to hit on his girlfriend. Okay. He got so mad that he got into his armored frame and used it to corner the guy in the hangar. Oh, God. No way. He was threatening to turn the guy into paste and made a real mess of some cargo containers. Because the hangars are a low-gravity zone, I was able to make a jump from the gangway to the armored frame and then overrode the cockpit access from the outside. The pilot was too focused on this engineer to notice me. Whoa, a frame jack? Did you use a cool line when the cockpit opened? Like, pick on someone your own size or something. No way. I put 50,000 volts into the guy's shoulder the second I had a clear shot. Aw, come on, you're no fun. I mean, can I use this? I don't think I need to use it. Alright. We also need to go to the airlock. Let's go to the airlock. And this is the main airlock. The main way to get on and off the ship when it's docked. Cool. Thanks, but I've already been here. Oh, really? When? When I got on the ship. Come on. Actually, I think I'm confusing it with somewhere else. What else can you tell me? He gave up. He gave up on explaining it to her. That is... Wow. That's too real. That's... Fuck. Well, it's got to be one of the best views on the ship, for one thing. You look around, but you can't see any windows. You wouldn't expect to be on a military vessel where inclusion like that could compromise the structure. Here? Really? Yeah, really. Check it out. Cassandra strides over to the terminal, set into the wall next to the airlock hatch, and quickly begins typing in commands into it. You hear a sequence of beeps, and she stands back, gesturing proudly to the screen. Not too bad, huh? You look at the screen, but all you can see is a dark display with a few errant pixels suspended on it. Is that working? Of course, it's working. Look. You stare a little harder at the screen. Although it takes you a moment, you eventually realize, oh, it's kind of working. That's an external field. That's right. Normally you can only see out the gun dog from either the bridge or the hangar. But the ship's covered in small cameras for combat simulations. You can access the feeds from terminals around the ship. That's actually pretty cool, but isn't the view from the bridge or the hangar a bit better? You know, because you're actually looking out? Well, maybe, but there's always someone else around. You never get to the view yourself. No one ever comes here, so it's quiet and it's almost like you're out there. So I'm probably going to need to come back here to like take a look at stuff outside at some point. I guess I can see what you mean. It's pretty quiet out this way, and with a fancy screen like that, it's basically the real view. Sure. I knew you'd understand. I'll add the command to your terminal access. That way you can come out here and see the stars whenever you want. Thanks. So, do you come out to the airlock a lot? Define a lot. More than once for coming on board and once for departing. There's nothing wrong with hanging out in the airlock. There might be. Sometimes you just need a bit of personal space. On a small ship like this, it's the only place you can really get some time to yourself. What about in your quarters, though? Even on a big ship like the Reliant, there's not a lot of places to get away from everyone. I just find it really relaxing to know that I'm this close to being out in space, away from everyone. Sometimes it feels like I was made to be out there, not cooped up in here. I didn't know you enjoyed that part of space. For most people, looking out into the expanse for too long triggers a kind of existential dread. That's fair. I knew a guy on another ship who couldn't bear to look out into space. He'd start getting the jitters whenever he did. Sometimes if he got drunk on duty, he'd start saying all kinds of weird stuff about how humanity's souls were never meant to be unbound from gravity. I don't know. It's just like there's something out there that's calling me, you know? Sure. Well, that's until... Sorry. Well, that's until I'm late for my shift, and the captain sends out a shipwide message telling me to haul my ass up to the bridge. Then I know there's something calling me. Okay. I'll leave those where they are. Yep. We're not going to actually mess with them, but cool. So we should go to our tasks. We got everything done now. What do we do? With Cassandra leading the way, the two of you leave the airlock behind you and step into the central hub. Cassandra pauses for a moment, looking at left and right before turning back to face you with a smile on her face. Complete the tour of the ship. Well, that's it, Riley. Consider yourself officially acquainted with all there is to be acquainted with on board the one and only JFS Gundog. I hope you've enjoyed the tour. Yeah, I did. It's probably up there in my top 5 ship orientations. Top 5? Okay. Okay, you're right. Top 3. Okay, great. Fantastic. Maybe a triple shift to start your time aboard the Gundog is more to your taste. Well, that did happen to me on board the Thunderbolt, so if that didn't happen, I guess it'd definitely be my favorite orientation ever. What a coincidence. It looks like your schedule's clear until tomorrow morning. Whoa, in that case, 5 stars. Great tour, especially the guide. Good job. Now that the tour's over, your duties don't formally begin until tomorrow. Okay. If you want, we can take another look at anywhere on the ship, or if you want to call it a day, that's cool too. I think we're good, right? I think I covered everything. I'll call it a day. I think that's enough for now. I should probably go over the mission logs before tomorrow and get an early night. I know the captain seems pretty relaxed, but I don't want to make a habit of late starts. Sure. It's going to be so responsible. I've got the late shift tonight, so maybe I'll get a nap in too. God. The two of you leave the central hub behind as you both head back to your quarters. Can we point out the fact that she just admitted that she's going to fall asleep while on duty? That's ridiculous. Cassandra being on board had been a huge surprise, but having spent this time with her, you found that all the anxiety you'd been feeling when you boarded the ship disappeared completely. Yeah, she induces the anxiety for me. You continue to chat casually about your schedules, the mission, and your plans for your next shore leave. Eventually, you reach the four-side thoroughfare and turn down the corridor that leads you to your quarters. Okay, I'll see you soon then. Well, look who it is. The Kaliki Coward. Oh. You don't even need to look... sorry. Well, the music stopped. You don't even need to look beyond Cassandra to know who's standing at the entrance to the corridor. Although you'd recognize the mocking tone anywhere, the real giveaway is the nickname, the one you'd escaped a long time ago. Hanson Cruz, or as you know him, Calic 3. God, I hate that name. The name of the ship, not his name. Hanson's fine. Of the members of Calc Squadron who'd taken part in the battle, he'd been the only one to return. Wow, he's the only one who made it. Well, thank God I lived. Even then, that had only been after a ceasefire had been signed, a full 13 hours after he had launched. From what you heard from the other crew members, he'd survived by playing a game of cat and mouse with the enemy forces in a debris field. By shutting down the majority of his systems and hiding amongst the wreckage, he'd been able to launch surprise attacks, taking down his pursuers one by one. When he came back to the Kalikans, your armored frame still suspended from its restraints, he had instantly blamed you for the squad being wiped out. Of course he did. If you'd taken off when you were supposed to, he argued, the squadron would have been at full strength, enough to survive the surprise attack. Maybe. No amount of technical data arguing that it had been physically impossible for you to launch would change his mind. The destruction of the Kalike squadron was on your hands. The worst bit was that you weren't entirely sure he's wrong. He is wrong. It's not my fault. That's bullshit. Man, fuck this guy. She's here too. What's up, Lieutenant Riley? You're not thinking of finishing your first day without meeting an old friend, right? When Haru came and told me that some lieutenant called Riley Wirfs was our new security officer, I had to come and take a look. No way it could be that wimp from back on the Calic. He had to have been dishonorably discharged for declaration of duty. But I guess the JCF was so desperate that they'll hang on to anybody, no matter how much of a screw-up they are. How'd you even end up here, Wirfs? They decided you couldn't handle a full-size ship and had to put you with the smallest crew they could find? You instinctively make your hands into fists, but unclench them quickly before Hansen notices. You haven't been stationed on the same ship as him since the collect, but you'd run into him a few times on board the colonies whilst you were both on shore leave. Each time had ended badly. I don't know. This is our first actual, important decision. I think it's important to have a good relationship with everybody as much as we can. So, I'm just going to say nothing. You almost lash out at Hansen, but stopped yourself before you do. The two of you are on the ship together, whether you like it or not, and the last thing you want is to let him know that he can get a rise out of you so easily. I agree. Yep, that was a smart choice. You fight the urge to just draw your electroshock weapon here and now. It'd be easy to put an end to this that way, you think, but you know that in the long term it'd probably be the worst decision you could make. Yeah, probably. Instead, you grit your teeth and say nothing. What's the matter, Lieutenant? Nothing to say for yourself? Or are you just trying to dodge a fight? I guess that's what you do best, right? Oh my god. Maybe I should have fought him. See what I'm saying, Haru? The lieutenant here's a coward, and he has been since day one. Won't fight, won't even stand up for himself. I don't care what she thinks of me. Ensign Cruz, you stop at this instant right now. Lieutenant Wirfs is can't stand up for yourself, so getting this just to do it for you, Lieutenant. Is that it? Wow. This guy's being unnecessarily mean. Cruz, you stop it right now and apologize, or I'll order Lieutenant Wirfs to throw you into solitary and write you up myself. You're welcome to try, Lieutenant Commander, but I don't think your security officers got it in them to even try. You think you can take me onward? Oh. I think I should be supportive of Cassie and remind Hansen that orders are orders. You step up to Hansen and place your hands on your hips, squaring up directly to him. You look into his eyes and wait for him to blink. A few tense seconds pass, but eventually he blinks first. You hold on to the sigh of relief for now. Ensign Cruz, that's a request from a senior officer. I suggest that you don't force the Lieutenant Commander to make it an order. You're so close that you can feel Hansen's hot breath on your face as he exhales through his nose and smirks. Why is that? Worried that you'd have to what you'd have to do when I disobey it? Come on, Lieutenant. What's it gonna be? You gonna show me who's boss aboard the ship? You gonna make me obey that order? You want to think long and hard about what you're going to do, Lieutenant. Never know when you're going to need a friend like me. I mean, we're all crewmates here, right? I'm not heartless. I'll even help losers like you if you've done me a solid or two. So maybe you should act like a professional for once. Or are you going to do something stupid and show the Lieutenant Commander that you're just as much of a screw-up as she is? Wow. I don't know what to do. I actually don't know what to do. You take a deep breath and... this is tough. This is actually tough. I think I need to stand up to him, because standing up to bullies is what I learned in elementary school. And I think that I shouldn't give him what he wants. I am tempted to do nothing. Oh, man. But then it made Cassie upset. I have to stand up to him. With Hansen's breath hot on your face, you do everything you can to not bat an eye by the last comment, but despite your best effort, your hands are clenched into fists. As much as you'd like to put 50,000 volts through him for insubordination and insulting a senior officer, you know that it would be letting him win. Instead, you glare into the ensign's eyes for a few more seconds. You can almost feel Hansen's hatred for you radiating from him radiating from him like an aura, and it takes all the bravado you can muster not to step down. The two of you stand like this for longer than you'd like until... Would you two knock it off already? Okay. Finally, everyone's shocked. I'm on duty this evening, and I don't want to have to update the captain that both her new security officer and lead pilot are in sickbay. All because their egos are too big to be on the same ship together. So both of you stand down. That's an order. I was... okay. Both you and Hanson are taken aback for a moment, like two school children who've been caught in a playground squabble. See, I was thinking of elementary school too, but it seemed like she was shocked that... Like it was like I'm like protecting her honor in my eyes, but I guess that's not how she saw it. You turn from Cassie to Hanson and back, trying to come up with something to say. Similarly, Hanson's air of machismo has been dented by this surprise outburst. No, I don't want to hear it from either of you. You're both in the JCF, so you should start acting like it. Okay. Ensign Cruz, I want you to report to the chief at 0400. You're helping her clean out the organic processing filters. As for you, Lieutenant Wirfs, we'll discuss this later. Okay. What? You can't. Ensign. Piss off. God. There we go. This is an adult game. That's an order. For the first time since you've met him, Hanson looks lost for words. He stands there for a moment, mouth agape. Yeah, Lieutenant Commander. I hear you loud and clear. Hanson thrusts both his hands into his jacket pockets, turning on his heel and heading away towards the thoroughfare. He cocks his head, gesturing at Haru to follow him as he leaves before the pair are fully out of sight, and he turns back to face the two of you. Good thing someone on this crew is able to keep everyone in line. Doesn't seem like our security officer is up to the task. With his parting shot fired, both Haru and Hanson disappear around the corner. You and Cassie stand there watching the space where they'd been. Cassie crosses her arms as she taps her foot furiously. What an absolute dick. I told you, he's a real... And you, what was that performance all about? I told you about him. He doesn't back down. You've got to... I know, but you can't let him get to you like that. Otherwise, he'll just keep coming after you until one of you does something they regret. Yeah, I know. You pause for a moment and feel your cheeks grow flush. You're suddenly filled with a sense of shame for being caught out acting so childishly. I don't know if I'd feel shame. That's what this guy feels, but I'd probably just feel disappointed that she didn't like that I was standing up for her, because that's a bit, it was just rude. Hey, don't worry about it. I know what the two of you have been through, and to be honest, I figured he was a real asshole from the moment I met him. Classy. Alright, she gets it. Plus, he's going to be busy helping the chief clean out those filters for the next month, so don't worry too much about running into him much anytime soon. Great. Still feeling a bit sheepish about your behavior in front of Cassie, you manage a smirk. Thanks for stepping in there. I shouldn't have stooped to his level. Don't worry about it. Just take it easy and don't let what he said get to you. I'm going to get ready for my shift, so I'll see you soon. Sure, I guess I'll catch you in the morning. Sounds good. Oh, one more thing. What's that? Cassie steps forward and places her hands on your waist and stands on tiptoes. Raising her face up to yours, you close your eyes and tilt your head slightly in response. At the moment that her lips meet yours, you forget everything that just happened. All you can focus on is the softness and delicate warmth. Oh, that's nice. After a moment, Cassie slowly moves back, and you open your eyes to find her gazing at you contently. You both share the same gentle smile before she steps away. Great. Sleep well, Riley. Okay. Cassie walks away. She spins on her heels, gives you a quick wave, and then turns back, heading further down the corridor. As you step into your quarters and head over to your bunk, the door hisses shut behind you. You stand there for a moment with the smile still on your face before you let out a sigh and sit down, staring at nothing in particular. You mull over the day's events and Cassie's words from earlier. Okay. Big day ahead tomorrow, huh? You sigh. We'll see. Okay. April 23rd, Planetary Calendar 214. 4 days have passed since JFS Gundog departed on its mission to rendezvous with JFS O'Brien. In the time that her crew, including Lieutenant Riley Wirfs, had fallen into the easy rhythm of life aboard the ship. Cool. Even as Gundog enters the outer limits of Jovian space and is due to meet the O'Brien, there is little for the crew to do, and a general sense of routine permeates the atmosphere. Outer Jovian space. Aboard the Jovian patrol ship JFS Gundog. Okay. You're just finishing the last of your coffee as a shrill series of electronic beeps begins sounding from your wristwatch. Without looking to check the time, you turn off the alarm, rise from your seat, knocking back the last of your drink, once you stood up, taking the empty cup back to the food vendor. It's easy to lose track of time on board a military ship where the light is kept at a constant level, so you rely on a series of alarms you've pre-programmed. You know that this one means your shift is due to start in a few minutes, giving you time to finish whatever you may be doing. You place the cup back into the vendor, where the machine latches onto it and then retracts it into a space that is quickly sealed by a sliding panel. As the sound of muffled whirring begins, you turn back to face the empty mess hall. Okay. Time to carry out today's security checks then. Let's see, I need to stop by the fire control, the hangar, and engineering to check that everything's going as it should. Okay. Can I use the vending machine? Let's see, it might be nice to get something for later. What should I do? Let's buy a chocolate bar. Let's see, a silent voice bar or a Duggan Krills. I don't know. I don't know what either of those flavors are. Okay, let's go with a silent voice. Sure. There's nothing else to use. Or can I use this? I've just had breakfast. Okay. There's no one here to talk to. No one's in the hall. Okay, so let's make sure I do this correctly. So, nope. Let's go to tasks, visit engineering, fire control hangar. Okay. Well, fire control's right here. Let's just go to the fire control. You still feel a little bit awkward checking on the fire control as part of the security report. Although Dylan is always friendly enough, you can't help but feel like you're intruding on his personal sanctuary. You know, I don't feel that way. I feel like he should be, more responsible. It doesn't help that his headphones are so big that, short of talking to him, it's hard to get his attention. Well, here you go. Here we go. Morning, Lieutenant. How's it going? Oh, hey, Dylan. Everything all right? I thought you'd be listening to your music. You're a pretty punctual guy, Lieutenant. So far, you've come by here at the exact time every shift. All I had to do was find which albums would last All I had to do was find which albums would last until just before you got here, and now I don't need to get interrupted mid-jam. Okay. That's pretty impressive. Aren't you going to get bored of listening to the same albums every morning, though? Nah, don't worry about it. I figured out about 15 different album combinations. That's not including changing the order of play, so I'm good for this mission. Okay. Speaking of the mission, do you know the drill? You know the drill. Anything unusual? Nothing at all, Lieutenant. Not even a scrap of debris. I've been keeping an eye on the long-range targeting systems, too, and we've had a blip, but the energy readings match the O'Brien, which makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I thought so. We're deep in Jupiter's backyard. We're so deep in Jupiter's backyard that I don't think we'll be seeing anything at all aside from the O'Brien. Okay. Well, that's good. Pausing for a moment as you idly shift your focus from one screen to another, a flicker on one screen catches your attention. What is that? Sir? This screen here, it just flickered. What does the reading say? Oh, that's a long-range target system. It's fed with data from the long-range communication system, which has been on the fritz recently. Chief's been working on it to try and figure out where all the feedback is coming from. That's the kind of thing you should be filling me in on, Gunner D's. If our targeting systems aren't operating properly, then I need to make sure that the captain knows. My bad, sir. since Chief, since Chief said she was on the case, I figured it was all in hand. I mean, that's a bold assumption, but like, I'm in charge of security, and your job is to shoot stuff and protect the ship. So, I think that's kind of bad, you know. Well, let me know the next time. That's it though. Nothing else. Nothing at all. All right, keep it up, Gunner D's. Yes, sir. Okay. We're going to end it here for this episode, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've been enjoying so far. I've been loving it. This game's great. Really good storytelling and really good writing, even if I make some slip-ups when I'm speaking. I think it's really fun. So I hope you enjoyed. As always, I'm Elwirfy. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will definitely see you guys next time.